Hi, today I have a beautiful story for you. So if you like my videos, subscribe my YouTube channel, click the bell icon, like my videos, comment in the comment section below and share my videos with your friends. So let's get started. Ruby's garden. Ruby's mother was standing at the school gate. She was waiting for Ruby. It was the end of Ruby's first day at her new school. The bell rang loudly. The children came out of their classrooms. They were laughing and chatting with their new friends. How happy they were to see their moms and dads. Ruby soon saw her mom. She was smiling and waving her hands. Ruby ran up and gave her a big hug. "Hello, Ruby," said Mom, giving her a big kiss. "Did you have a good day at school?" Ruby nodded her head. "Did you like your new teacher?" asked Mom. Ruby nodded her head again. "Tell me what you did at school today," said Mom. "Mrs. Thomas made us write our names on sticky labels," said Ruby. She pointed to the label on her blouse. It said, "Ruby." "We have to wear them all week," said Ruby, "till Mrs. Thomas knows our names." "What did you do then?" asked Mr. Dibbins. "We stayed in the garden all day," replied Ruby. "In the garden?" asked Mom, looking surprised. "Yes," said Ruby. "We learned a poem and did lots of sums. We also did some science." "In the garden?" said Mom. "How odd!" Mom wanted to know about Ruby's day at school, but Ruby only wanted to chat about her pet kitten, Minnie. Mom told Ruby about the naughty things Minnie had done. That evening, Mrs. Dibbins spoke to Mr. Dibbins. "Do you know what, Arthur?" said Mrs. Dibbins. "What, dear?" replied Mr. Dibbins. "Ruby's class spent the whole day in the garden," said Mrs. Dibbins. "No, really?" said Mr. Dibbins, looking at her over the top of his reading glasses. "Perhaps they were studying plants." "I don't think so," replied Mrs. Dibbins. "I shall go and talk to Mrs. Thomas tomorrow." So the next day, Mrs. Dibbins took Ruby to school early. Mrs. Thomas was ready in class 2B. She was putting sheets of paper and crayons on the desks. "Good morning, Mrs. Thomas," said Mrs. Dibbins. "Good morning," said Mrs. Thomas, smiling. "I'm Ruby's mother," said Mrs. Dibbins. "I'm a little worried." "What is it?" asked Mrs. Thomas, looking a little worried herself. "Is there something wrong?" "Yes, there is," said Mrs. Dibbins. "Ruby told me that she was in the garden all day yesterday." Mrs. Thomas laughed. Mrs. Dibbins was cross. She didn't think that there was anything to laugh about. "Did you tell your mom what we did yesterday, Ruby?" asked Mrs. Thomas. Ruby nodded. "And did you tell your mom about the other girls in class?" and asked Mrs. Thomas. Ruby shook her head, and Mrs. Thomas smiled at Ruby's mom. "I told the children yesterday that we are going to call our classroom the garden," said Mrs. Thomas. "The garden?" said Mrs. Dibbins in surprise. "Whatever for?" Just then, the other girls of 2B came into the classroom. They were all still wearing their labels. "Mrs. Dibbins, I want you to meet Ruby's friends," said Mrs. Thomas, pointing to the girls. "Violet, Rose, Poppy, Iris, Jasmine, Daisy. Say hello, Ruby's mom." Mrs. Gibbons and Mrs. Thomas laughed and laughed. The girls laughed too. So, let's meet on another day. Today's story is over. Good night, all. Sweet dreams.